Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I'm going to show you the third card that we made at Stamp Class this weekend, where we played with the black ice technique. And here is the last card we made, and this one is using silver foil. On Monday I showed you this one that I made using gold foil as the background. Then on Wednesday, I showed you this one that has copper foil. And then today, we're going to use this one that has silver foil. And so for supplies, what we're using, our stamp set is High Tide. We're using these three here, the birds, as well as the seagrass. So the first thing we have to do is do our technique on our silver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of repositionable tape down just to keep that secure. You don't have to do that. As long as you can hold on to it nice and tight, you're all set. So I use a piece of scrap paper to hold on to one half of this, because you don't want to get your fingers on your foil because you'll put oils on it. So using black archival ink and using just the tip, just that edge of the stamp pad, you're going to hold down your silver paper and you're very lightly going to run that across, and you're going to get those black lines, and that's what you want. Then you're going to put your paper on the other side, and again, hold on nice and tight so that your paper doesn't move. And very lightly run your ink pad over it. Then you're going to turn it around, because you want to have this border on the top as well as the bottom. So again, we're going to lightly run that down. And again, on the other side, lightly run that down. And there we have our background. Now we're going to bring in the heat gun and just heat that up a little bit. You want to make sure that your ink is dry on that foil. Okay? Now we're going to stamp our image. And because this is photopolymer, I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat. And again, using the black archival, I'm going to ink up my birds. And I'm going to just straight down, straight up. Now, because you're stamping on foil, there is the possibility that if you're not steady, your hand is going to slip, and then your image will be a little blurry. Next thing I'm going to do is put my geese right about here, straight down, straight up, and then I'm going to come in with my seagrass, and I'm just going to fill that in around the bottom, as much or as little as you want. Okay? And again, at this point, it's very important that your ink is dry before you move on to the next step. So with the heat gun, again, you're going to come in and you dry up all that ink. And now we're going to make the magic happen. I'm going to come in with our Versamark pad. I'm going to bring in our scrap paper again. And again, very lightly with the tip of your Versamark. You're going to very lightly just run that along your paper. If you go down too hard, then you won't get the texture on the finished project. You'll end up with more of a flat, shiny finish. So you do want to go very lightly on that. Now we're going to sprinkle some clear embossing powder. And I'm going to lift this up with my spatula. So I want to try not to get my fingers on that. Tap off any excess. And put this away before I spill it. And now I'm going to bring in my heat gun again and heat that up. And when the embossing powder starts to melt, it's going to look very differently than when it does when you're doing regular embossing. You're going to have now little texture that looks like droplets of water on the ice. And that's what up here in the Northeast we call black ice. And we have that happen all the time in the wintertime. When the temperatures drop in the middle of the night, you wake up and the weather forecast always says, be careful of the black ice, because you really can't see it. You can't see it unless you're sliding on it, and then you realize it's underfoot or under tire. And you'll notice that the paper does curl up, but that's okay. You'll be attaching that, and it'll go back down to its right shape. You want to make sure that you move your paper around so that you can see any spots that you may have missed with your heat tool. Now I'm going to bring this up close to the camera, and hopefully you can see all that texture that's in that embossing. It's not just a flat piece of foil. It's nice and textured, almost like little droplets. Okay? So now we're going to put our card together. I neglected to tell you what we were using. I have a piece of Marina Mist, which is retiring. I'm so sad to see this go. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then I have another piece of Marina Mist that is 4 by 5 1/4. And this is the one we're going to work on now. I'm going to bring my black ink back in and put black ink in, and I'm going to ink up the hardwood stamp. I love this hardwood stamp. And because it's so large, I like to bring my paper to my stamp. And then I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper and just press this down, just to make sure that I get all the edges. And when I lift this up, it's beautiful. So now I'm going to attach that to the front of, well, actually, no, I'm not going to attach that. Okay. All right, so now I have that. And then I'm going to bring in a piece of black satin ribbon, and I'm going to just make a knot in the center of it and fuss around with it so it looks pretty, and tug that tight. And I'm just going to attach this to the bottom here. So how I'm going to do that is take a little bit of snail on the edges, and I'll attach that right there. And now I'm going to attach this card base, excuse me, this card front to my card base. I'm just going to center that up a bit. And now I'm going to attach my stamped image. And this piece of foil, I apologize, I totally forgot to give you the measurements, is 3 by 3, and it's silver foil. I'm going to attach it to a piece of basic black, which is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. And then I'm going to attach that to my card front. And there it goes, right there. And there we have our beautiful black ice technique. And I don't know if that's showing up nicely or not, if you can see that on the camera, but it is a lovely, lovely texture. So again, here are the 3 cards that we made using all the same technique, and they all look very different based on the color of the foil and also on the colors that we used for the card. Again, this is Mondays, and it's on Sweet Sugar Plum on gold foil. This is Wednesdays. It is soft suede background on copper foil. And here is today's a Marina Mist background on silver. And I just think the technique is such a great technique, and I hope you'll try it. It's a little messy and a little trying at times, and your Versamark pad will end up looking like this, but that's okay. So I hope you'll give it a try. If you have any questions at all, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. Thanks so much.